All right. And it said a school purchases boxes of candy bars. Each box contains 50 candy bars, and each box costs $30. How much does the school have to charge for the candy bar to make a profit of $10 per box? So right now, each box costs 30. So a profit of $10 would mean that I need to charge $40 for a whole box or make $40 off a whole box. And so we have $40 per 50 candy bars. And we just put that in our calculator. So 40 divided by 50. And we get 0.8 or 80 cents. So this one's pretty simple. Okay. I'm going to ask questions. Make sure that while you're on Zoom, you're answering some questions. Okay. So that one was pretty cut and dry. We're going to move on. We did the next two. We did the next two. We're going to go to 23. It says cell phone company Y charges $10 startup fee plus 10 cents per minute. Cell phone company Z charges 20 per minute with no startup fee. What function represents the difference in cost between company Y and Z? So we're going to start with company Y, and we're going to write the equation. We have a $10 startup fee plus 10 cents per minute X. So $10 startup fee plus 10 cent X. For Z, it says that it has 20 cent per minute X. But read what it's asking you. It wants to know the difference. What does difference mean? Come on, Zoomers. Everybody's on Zoom, so everybody's got to talk. What does difference mean? Guys, you're wasting time. What does difference mean? Guys, answer the question. What does difference mean? This is an exam review. You have an exam in a couple days and nobody's answering.
Subtraction.
Thank you. It's wasting your 40 minutes and we got to get through these so you guys can do it. Company Y and company Z. So what we're going to do is Y minus Z. Again, answer the questions that I ask. You're going to take Y, which is 10 plus 10x, and you're going to subtract Z, which is 0.20x. You have like terms right here. And we're doing 0.10 minus 0.20. So we get 10 minus 0.10. Sorry, y'all. With an x. And that's our equation. So if we go over here and look, a negative 0.10x. So it can't be these two because they're 10x. And then a positive 10. So your only answer choice would be B because this one has a negative 10. All right, so really quick questions. Moving on. We did the next one. We did the next one. All right, so 26 is just knowing place value. So if we look at this one, it says the boiling point of water T is measured in degrees at altitude A, measured in feet, is modeled by the function. All of that beginning stuff is just telling you where the function comes from and you don't really need it, okay? So it's just telling you where it comes from, so it's kind of added information that you don't really need to look at. So your function is negative 0.0018a plus 212. In terms of altitude and temperature, which statement describes the meaning of the slope? So which one of those two numbers is the slope? Which one of these two numbers is the slope? Lauren, which one of the two numbers is the slope? Oh, somebody chatted. Just talk. Yeah, the negative 0.0018. Y'all just open your microphone and talk to me. It's not that hard. So it's not this one, but it is this one. It's a negative. Does negative mean increasing or decreasing? This is going to be a long review.
Decreasing.
Thank you. So we can mark out A and B because it's got to be decreasing because it's going down. So negative means down. And then how do you figure out, is it 18 and 1,000 or is it 1.8 and 1,000? So the way that you figure that out is you literally just put it in your calculator and see which one gives you that decimal. So is it 18 over 1,000 or is it 1.8 over 1,000? Which one was it? Look at that one more time. We want this decimal. Is it the 18 that gives it or the 1.8?
Oh, 1.8.
1.8. So your answer is D. That's all you have to do on that. All right. 27 is a Desmos question. So I'm going to go, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let me get that out of here. I don't know if I can. Jump over to Desmos. I got a bunch of stuff in here from this morning, so I apologize. All right, so it gives you the points. 2, 4. Remember, we put those in parentheses, and then we use a comma between them, so it'll graph them, and 6, 8. I'm going to go home so you guys can see it. I've been messing with it. Put some parentheses around it. I don't know why it's not. Oh, because I put 6.8. Sorry. That's my fault, guys. So there it is. You don't need the parentheses unless you're doing distance. Remove my thing. So here's our 2 points, and I just put those in so you guys could see them. It says a line segment has those endpoints. The point K is the midpoint. Remember, midpoint means the middle. So it's in between those 2 points. And what is the equation of a line perpendicular? So remember, perpendicular makes the T. We want that 90-degree cross. So we're going to put in our answers and see which one does that. So we're going to start with y equals negative x plus 10. And if you look, that would make a perpendicular. And it is exactly in the middle. So I'm going to show you the other ones that are not pretty. So y equals negative x minus 10. See how it doesn't go between the points? So it's not through the midpoint. We had x plus 2. It goes through the line. So that's the actual line for those 2 points. We want the perpendicular line. And then we had minus 2, and that doesn't go through the point or anything. So the answer choice that we would pick is A. So on 27, we have A, and all we had to do is put it in Desmos. Okay. We're going to jump back over here. This is a table, and it says stuff about the mean, the range, the interquartile range, and the standard deviation. So we're going to put this into stat. So I think I have some stuff in mind. I'll clear it out before I put it up there. Okay. So we have 6, 59, 12, 11, 9, 54, 54, and 46. And so I'm going to go into one var stat. So stat calc in the first one. And I'm going to write down what all these are. So the mean looks like this is 31.375. To find the range, remember the range is the highest minus the lowest. So there's your minimum at 6 and your maximum at 59. which gives you 53. Your IQR is your Q3 minus Q1. Q3 is 54. Q1 is 10. When we subtract that, we get 44. And then it asks about your standard deviation. And that's this one up here that has like the squiggly O and the X, so 22.18. All right. It says Delaware has an area of 2,000 square miles, which is true if Delaware is included. Now be careful. How do I put that in the chart? Because I don't see any 2,000, 6,000, 12,000. What do I see? What would I put in my chart? So if we look, I'm not giving the answer. I'm trying to help you find the answer. This says area in thousands of square miles. So Connecticut would have 6,000. Georgia would have 59,000. Maryland would have 12,000. So what number do I put in for Delaware?
2.
Thank you. So we're going to go back to our stat and edit, and we're just going to add a 2 at the bottom. And we're going to see how these things change. Stat, calc, 1-bar stats. Throw them in there. So the mean was 31. Now it's 28. Did it increase? It was 31. Now it's 28. Did it increase? Come on, guys. Yes or no?
No.
Thank you. All right. So the range, remember how we find the range is the biggest number, 59. There it is at the bottom of your screen, minus the littlest number, 2. So 59 minus 2 is 57. At first it was 53. Then it was 57. Did it decrease? It was at 53. Now it's at 50.
No, it didn't.
Thank you. Come on, guys. It's not hard questions. I'm not asking you to break a leg or anything. You can do it. We got to review. All right. The interquartile range, remember, was Q3 minus Q1. So our Q3 is 54. Our Q1 is 7.5. You can use your calculator on this. 54 minus 7.5. What did we get? 46.5. We had, sorry, 46.5. We had 44. We're at 46.5. Did it decrease?
No.
Oh, so our answer has to be D. So I'm going to show you one more time. Our standard deviation, which looks like this, is 22.8. It was 22.1. Now it's 22.8. So it did increase. Okay, so that's question 29. All right. Question 30 and question 31 are pretty much the same. So you have to figure out the numbers. You don't have to do all of them. All it's asking for on this one is seniors and juniors. So we don't care about freshmen and sophomores. So I'm going to mark those out. It said how many more seniors than juniors were included in the survey. So you can do this a couple of different ways. You can do all of these numbers, or you can find a total. So I would suggest that you find a total. So remember, to find a total, you just add it up. So I'm going to try to get all this on the screen. 0.1 plus 0.06 plus 0.08 is 0.24. So juniors are 24%. 0.08 plus 0.09 plus 0.1 is 0.27. Now to figure out the actual number, you just multiply those two by 3,500. So juniors is 0.24 times 3,500. Seniors is 0.27 times 3,500. So 0.24 times 3,500 is 840. 0.27 times 3,500 is 945. It wants to know how many more. That means we subtract. And we get 105. Oh, sorry, y'all. Tight quarters in my kitchen cabinets. All right, next one. A book club has 200 members. Each member was asked whether he or she prefers fiction or nonfiction books. The results are shown in the relative frequency table, so it's the same exact thing that we just did. So what I did on this, they gave you the totals. I just went ahead and multiplied all of them by 200. So this one asks all kinds of crazy stuff. So I just went ahead and did all of them. So 64, 21 to 30 prefer fiction. 200 times 0.11 is 22 prefer nonfiction. 200 times 0.38 is 76 prefer nonfiction out of 31 to 40-year-olds. And then nonfiction, 0.19 times 200 is 38. If we go over to the totals, we can do those too. 0.43 times 200. So there was a total of 21 to 30-year-olds, 86 of them. 0.57 times 200 is 114. 31 to 40-year-olds. If you want to do the 0.70 in that as well, you can, or you can just add them up. So if you guys look, 64 plus 22 is 86. 76 plus 38 is 114. So for your totals, you can just add the numbers you already had. So you only really needed to do these four. All right, which statement is true? And I'm going to look at the ones that I don't have to do any work through first. So like this one, I'd have to do some work, okay? 38 members are 31 to 40 and prefer fiction. So 31 to 40 and fiction is actually 76. So we know that's not right. 43 members are 21 to 30. 21 to 30 had 86 people. So we know that's not right. 140 prefer fiction. So all of this is fiction. So 64 plus 76, if we put that in our calculator, we get 140. So that's our answer right there. Okay. Moving on. It says the table below shows the distance a car has traveled. So anytime we have a table and it asks for the slope of the linear model, we're doing stacked. And we're going to clear this out. 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Okay. Stacked, calc, linear regression. And we get 0.8. Now we don't have anything over here that says 0.8, but if I put 0.8 in my calculator and I do math, enter, it's 4/5. 4/5. Okay, don't forget that your slope is rise over run, or the change in y over the change in x. So these are your x's and these are your y's. The reason I tell you that is because you can see a bunch of 4s and 5s. Y represents the distance. So it would be 4 miles per 5 x's minutes. So which one says 4 miles every 5 minutes? Is C. All right. The next one is just multiplying. It gives you a formula. It gives you a formula 1/2 HB1 plus B2. It gives you B1 is X minus 3. It gives you the height is 4, H is 4. And B2 is X plus 7. So we're going to plug it into that formula. I'm going to rewrite the formula down here. So 1/2 H is 4. B1 is X minus 3. Plus B2 is X plus 7. Okay, all I'm going to do is clean it up. 1/2 of 4 is 2. X plus X is 2X. -3 plus 7 is 4. Distribute your 2 in. 2 times 2 is 4X. And 4 times 2 is 8. So your final answer is B. Okay. We're going to skip number 34 and 35. We're going to go to 36. It gives you Lucy savings and Barbara savings. This is a Desmos question. It says after how many weeks will they have the same amount? So we want it equal. Where are they equal? So I'm going to jump over to Desmos and I'm going to type both of those in. Y equals 10X plus 5. And then Y equals 7.5X plus 25. How about I type that in right? And we can't quite see where they cross, so we're going to have to zoom out and check out that point. It's at 885. So 885. So your answer is going to be 8 weeks. All right. On the next one, it says Colin noticed that various combinations of nickels and dimes could add up to 65 cents. Let X equal the number of nickels and Y equal the number of dimes. What is the domain where Y is a function of X and the total value is 65 cents? So if we think about this, 65 cents, the first thing you need to think about is you always have to have a nickel. Dimes only give you tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So you can't have 0 nickels. So all of this is the number of nickels that you can have. We can't have 0 nickels because we have to have this 5 on the end. Then if I have double nickels, so 2 nickels makes 10 cents, 4 nickels makes 20 cents, that kills that 5 as well. So I also cannot have even numbers. So no evens. And we have to have at least 1 nickel. So it's always going to be an odd number. Okay. So your answer is D on this one. All right. We're skipping 38 and going to 39. 39 is another chart. I'm hoping my phone will stay alive long enough to do this. We're going to go to Stat and Edit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Delete the other one. We have 12, 1350, 15, and 1650. Delete the last one. It wanted to know which represents the cost of pizza. These are all linear. That's why I'm doing it this way. Stat, Calc, linear regression. And I'm going to write it down. Y equals 1.5x plus 10.5. So if you guys look, you see that there's lots of 12s and 1.5s and craziness, and that's okay. What we do know is that it's not going to be C because I have to have 1.5x. We know it's not going to be D. So these two both have the 1.5, so I need to figure out which one it is. You can already tell it's not going to be this one because I need 10.5. So I'm going to show you how the other one is correct. You're going to distribute the 1.5. You get 12 plus 1.5 n minus 1.5. Add your like terms. You get 1.5 n, and 12 minus 1.5 is 10.5. So A has to be your answer. We are skipping 40. And we're going to 41. The sequence below shows the number of trees a nursery plants each year: 2, 4, 8, 32, 128. Which formula could be used to determine the number of trees in the nursery that the nursery will plant next year? Next, if the number of trees planted this year now is known. So we just want a next now statement. So all we have to do is know what's happening right here. So how do I get from 2 to 8, 8 to 34, 32, and 32 to 128? We're multiplying by 4. So that eliminates anything that has a plus because we're multiplying. And then are we multiplying by 1/4 or are we multiplying by 4? We're multiplying by 4. So that one's very cut and dry. All right. Look at the next one. It says there were originally 4 trees in the orchard. Each year, the owner planted the same number of trees. In the 29th year, there were 178 trees in the orchard. Which function T of n can be used to determine the number of trees in the orchard in any year n? So we can make our own table, and that's what I would suggest that you do. Originally means at 0, there were 4. And then in the 29th year, there were 178. So we make our own chart. We go into our calculator and we edit. We had 0 and 29, 4 and 178. And we get y equals 6x plus 4. So your answer is C. All right. 43 is a Desmos question. So I'm going to go to Desmos and I'm going to type those coordinates in. So we had -7, 3. Get out of there. Comma. -4, 6. Comma. 5, -3. Comma. 2, -6. We got about 10 minutes left and then we'll be done. Sorry, must have hit when I did that. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, y'all. One more time. -7, 3. -4, 6. 5, -3. And 2, -6. There we go. I'm gonna go home so you can see it a little bit better. All you do is look and see what kind of shape that is. Remember that I'm gonna go back to my, because you know what it is now. I'm gonna go back. Remember, a trapezoid looks like this. We just had one of those on there. It didn't look like that. It wasn't a square. It is a rectangle. Remember, a rhombus is like a diamond. So it'd be, if they said a rhombus that's not a square, it'd be like an elongated rhombus. So elongated diamond. So C is going to be your answer because it was a rectangle. Okay. 44 is really easy. You just got to know what the meaning of midpoint is. And midpoint means in the middle. So R is the midpoint of segment PS and Q is the segment of RS, the midpoint of segment RS. Sorry, my daughter just came downstairs. I'm in a Zoom. Can you please get out of here? No talking. Thank you. All right. So P is located at 810. And S is located at 12, -6. I apologize for that. For this one, what's really cool is that all of your X coordinates are different. So you can just use your X's and think about what's the difference between 8 and 12, what's in the middle. So if we think about a number line, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we know that 10 is in the middle. So again, I don't really care about the Y coordinate right now. And then we need to find the middle of Q, or the middle of R and S, which is Q. So in between 10 and 12 is 11. And again, the Y coordinate doesn't matter in this case because we can find it with the X. So that's no work at all. It's just writing it down. Okay. I have about 7 minutes left. So we've got a couple more questions we can do. 45 says the sequence below shows the total number of days Francisco has used his gym membership at the end of 1, 2, 3, and 4 weeks. Assuming the pattern continued, which function could be used to find the total number of days Francisco had used his gym membership at the end of the week? All right, so here's the chart you have right now. 1, 4, 2, 9, 3, 14, and 4, 19. If we look at our equations, remember this is going to be linear. Why is it going to be linear? Each time we're adding 5. So that automatically cancels out D and A because we should have a slope of 5. The question is, where do we start? Remember in our chart, we should always start at 0. And you can put this part into stat and get your equation and you'll be fine. Or you can do it this way. Start at 0, so I subtract 5 and I get -1. So my answer should be B. But again, if you just put this part into stat, you're going to get that equation. All right. So this next one, the only tricky part is putting it into your calculator, so be aware of that. It says the volume of a sphere is 2,400 cubic centimeters. What's the approximate diameter? It wants diameter of the sphere. It gives you the volume of a sphere formula, which is 4/3 pi r cubed. We know that the volume is 2,400. So to solve this, we want to get r by itself, so we can divide by all this, 4/3 pi. And what's really good is that your regular calculator will do that for you. So when we go into our calculator, we're going to do alpha y equals, to make a fraction, on the top is going to be 2,400. On the bottom, we're going to make another fraction, and it's going to be 4 pi. Sorry, that's not pi. Pi over 3. And we get this 572. So we get 572.9577 equals r cubed. So remember, for a square to cancel out, you do a square root. For a cube to cancel out, you do a cube root. And I think we've done this once or twice, but just to remind you, it's math and the 4 key. So if we look under math, and number 4 is 3 square root, or that cube root. And then you can jump up here and highlight that and put that into your answer. So when we hit enter, we get r equals 8.3, but r stands for radius. What you should know from way back is that diameter equals 2 times the radius. So the radius is 8.3. So that means the diameter is 16.6. So your answer for 46 would be A. We're going to skip 47. I don't have time for 48. Let's see if we can do any more. 49 is easy. It says, which describes the relationship between the number of arithmetic errors the students made and the amount of time the students took to complete the quiz. So if we look, all of the dots are going down. So that is a negative relationship. So this one says negative and this one says negative. So the other ones can be marked out. And then the question is it strong or is it weak? Are they very linear or are they kind of spread out? In this case, they pretty much look like a line. So these would be strong. So 49 is strong. All right. And then 50 is one of those that you just kind of have to know. It's kind of common sense. It'll be the last one that we do, and then we'll finish up the rest of it when we review again on Friday. An elevator can hold a maximum of 1,500 pounds. 8 people need to use the elevator. Bill had some measures from the data set of how much each person weighed, which measure would be most useful to determine if people can safely use the elevator. We want to figure it out. We don't want the median because that could mean that there's a like super heavy or super light. The mode is what happens the most, and the interquartile range is like that Q3 minus Q1. So the best thing would be what's the average weight. So this means the average. So if the average weight is over 1,500 pounds, we don't want to use it because the elevator may break. If the average weight is under 1,500 pounds, we should be in good shape. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop sharing and stop